response to the tragic news of legendary filmmaker Shyam Benegal passing away this week, it only felt right to pay tribute to him by revisiting his modern interpretation of the Mahabharata, turning the scale from grand to extremely personal and transforming a war of grand carnage into a cold war full of cynical minds. Benegal's version is an incredibly biting satire of today's capitalism because instead of showing valiant and brilliant Kshatriyas giving away their lives for dharma, he morphs the same characters into Vaishyas, businessmen with even smaller minds, solving their petty jealousies by rigging each other's plans. In this edition of Retro Revisit, we are related to look back at the Shashi Kapoor and Rekha starrer KALYUG, where greed and lust rule men's minds and women have their influences in the dark backdrop of the past. Whenever one finds the name of Vanraj Bhatia associated with an Indian art film, you can be assured of the fact that the music will be intense and exciting. KALYUG's non-diegetic electronic music is as deep and vibrant as the satirically commercialized diegetic music is shallow, and the latter often manages to become a brushstroke to describe a character like Subhadra losing her mind or Karan trying to find respite in the chaos of the world. Thematically, there's a lot being said by the music under the rug than the director wants to directly convey to us,
24 घंटे ये बजाना जरूरी है
giving us little clues about the downfall of our own decadent and oblivious society.
लोग ले हैं सबके सब हरामजादे.
Unlike the characteristic flavor of Bollywood masalas, Benegal's KALYUG is not armed with dramatic monologues or punchy one-liners. Instead, the dialogue between the characters is often quite commonplace and monotonous in conveying the helplessness and anger of men, shifting the emphasis instead to the body and the eyes. A lot is said in silence, as the music takes over in conveying the atmosphere of the moment. This makes KALYUG an unusual epic film in Hindi cinema. When it comes to chemistry between the characters, Benegal doesn't seem to feel the need to fall back on traditional romance to entertain his audiences. He unapologetically projects the empty lust in the minds of its characters, who see in their bonds nothing more than either distractions or business interests. In a surprising move never seen before in the history of Mahabharata retellings, our filmmaker relegates the significance of celibate hero Bhishma to a merely helpless figure watching the tragedy of his family unravel and failing to give any respite or praise to Karan.
सुनने को कुछ बाकी नहीं है. जिस इंसान पर बचपन से भरोसा किया आज उसी ने धोखा दिया है.
Just like in previous revisits like Masoom, we find ourselves realizing that in KALYUG, human greed itself becomes a villain and eats man off. Benegal's climax is a departure from Duryodhan's heroic death on the battlefield. Dhanraj in this story finds no way to reconcile his life with the reality of the loss of his closest kins, leading to suicide, a natural end to a story that finds itself in the new age of masculine impotence. Benegal's version is interestingly characterized not by what he adds to the Mahabharata, but what he subtracts from it, stripping off the grandeur and showing their victories and humiliations as smaller incidents with more psychological impact. It is therefore such filmmakers who should give hope to us as we try to give our own ancient stories another look amidst a crowd full of commercial disasters that seem to drop our intellectual reputation as one of the world's greatest long-standing democracies. Thank you for revisiting KALYUG with us, and we hope that your Bollywood craze never dies.